Okay, guys, so this is one of the games called Coup. Coup is a hidden role game, which basically means that you have a character, well, characters in this case, which have special abilities, but the other players do not know for sure which character and abilities you possess, at least not at the beginning. So there's definitely an element of bluffing and or to put it another way, lying through your teeth to the other players in order to get ahead. The game is set in a distant future where we are all playing as government officials in a very corrupt government. And what we are trying to do is get ahead by bumping off the competition, basically. So it's all very cutthroat, and there we go. And that's how that works. So, excuse me. The way that the game works is at the start, everybody is dealt 2 cards face down, which will be character cards, like the ones that you can see here. There are 3 of every character type in the deck, and they all have special abilities. So the reason I've done it like this is so I can explain what the characters do first off. So on your turn, there are several things you can do. I'm just going to follow this and work my way down. So the first 3 action types, you do not need to claim a character to do. So income, take 1 coin. Basically, is what it says on the tin. You take a coin and you add it to your stash. I am now 1 coin richer. That's all that is. Foreign aid is take 2 coins. There we go. And the last action, which you don't need to claim a character, is to coup. If you have 7 coins in your stash, then you can pay them to the center and target a player. That player then has to lose one of the characters that they have in front of them. They would do that by flipping it face up, and that character is now out of the game. It also then gives all the other players some information. So, for example, if I had 2 characters here and I flipped this one up, you now know this is the Contessa. You now know there can only be 2 more Contessas out in the game because there's only 3 and one of them is there and she's out. All the other actions, you need to claim a particular character. So the Duke, which is this guy, allows you to claim tax, which means you can take 3 coins from the center. So the way you would do that, on my turn, for example, I would say I have a Duke, so I'm going to claim tax. The assassin, who is this charming-looking lady, does what she says. Basically, you pay 3 coins and you can target a player to assassinate. That player would then, similar to a coup, would then lose one of the characters in front of them. There is a big difference with using an assassin and a coup, but I'll come back to that in just a tick. The ambassador allows you to exchange. And what that would mean is from the court deck, which is the cards that are left in the center, you can take 2 cards and bring them into your hand. And then it's a case of you can keep any of the 2 that you've taken and the 2 that you started with. So essentially you're now going to have 4 characters, and it's choose 2 to keep and 2 to put back in the middle. So that's a good way of, if you've got a really rubbish hand of characters and you need to swap characters out, you can do that. The captain allows you to steal from another player by taking 2 coins from them and then bringing them from their pile into yours. If the other player only has 1 coin, then obviously you can only take maximum 1 coin. If they're broke, there is no point stealing from them. And the Contessa does not have an action. So that's, I didn't do that, did I? So there's the ambassador, that's the captain, and that's the Contessa. So the Contessa is the one that doesn't have an action. She does, however, have a counteraction. Now, counteractions are some characters are able to block other characters from doing things. So, for example, if you remember earlier on when I said one of the three actions you can do is foreign aid. So let's say, for example, on my turn, I said I'm taking foreign aid. Amber may then say, actually, I have a Duke, and I'm going to block your foreign aid. So, which would be very mean of her, but nonetheless, it is a valid move. The ambassador and the captain are both able to block stealing. So if somebody tries to steal from you, you can claim to have either an ambassador or a captain to block it. And lastly, the Contessa is able to block assassins. So if you remember earlier on when I said the main two ways of attacking somebody is either cooing or assassinating. An assassin can be blocked with the Contessa, but a coup cannot be blocked. So if someone is starting to stockpile a huge sum of money, then they are probably revving up to coup somebody, and therefore they are a potential threat. And the last element of the game, which is quite important, is called challenging. Challenging basically works where you challenge another player when you think they are bluffing. So, and that works where any time somebody claims to have a particular character, to either when they are taking a action or a counter action, you can challenge them and say, I don't believe you, I don't think you have whatever character they've just claimed to have. Excuse me. When you challenge, if you challenge correctly, then the person who just tried to bluff which characters they have loses one of the characters in front of them. If they were in fact telling the truth, excuse me, the first thing that will happen is they will have to reveal the character card to everybody. They will then shuffle it back into the center deck and draw a new card and secretly put that in front of them. So they lose the character that they just claimed, but they do get a new one. The person who incorrectly challenged them now loses a character face up. So you need to be very careful when you're challenging people that you don't challenge them incorrectly, because otherwise you may end up hurting yourself. Now I'm just going to pause the video for a minute, because what I'm going to do is set this up as though there's an imaginary couple of players and just show you how a round works. And just like magic, the table is reset. Okay, so my two character cards are face up, but this is just so you guys can see on the video. In real life, these would be face down. I would know what they are, but the other imaginary players would not. So just to give you an idea how this might work. So on my turn, I am going to, because I actually have a duke, which means I can get money really quickly. So I'm going to say I have a duke, and I'm going to claim tax. Now, because this is the first move of the game, we're going to pretend that these two are both going to be really frightened to challenge me, because at the moment they've got no information really to go on, other than the fact that there's 3 dukes potentially out there in the game. So the odds are I may have one, but then again I could not. So that's my turn done. This imaginary player is going to claim to have a captain. So this player is going to steal 2 coins from me, because I have a big bank of money. Now, I don't actually believe that this person has a captain, so I'm going to challenge. So this player then very cockily goes, nah, 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 I had a captain, which means that this action succeeds and they do get the 2 money. I would then have to lose one of my characters, which is very annoying for me. So I'm going to choose to lose my duke, because I have enough money to use my assassin later. So of the 2 of them, I'd rather keep her. So if this were a real game, as I said, that she would actually be face down and my duke would now be face up. So the other players would know that there is now only 2 dukes left in the game. This player now has to lose the captain. So what I'm going to do is, I can't shuffle properly one-handed, so I'm just going to do this. But the person would shuffle that card into this deck and then draw. So there is a possibility they would actually get the captain back. But there you go. And now this is the last turn I'm going to do for this. Actually, no, it's going to be the second to last person. So this person is going to, now thinking, well, that player didn't claim a duke, and Sam doesn't have his duke anymore. I'm going to take foreign aid. So this player's going to do this. This player doesn't claim Duke, neither do I, so that action succeeds. So now it's back to me. Now, this is where challenging can actually wipe you out, and that's why I've done it this way on purpose. So I am now, as my action, going to claim Assassin, pay my 3 coins, and target this player. This player is going to challenge me and say, I don't think you have an assassin. I would go, yes, I do. So that means this player automatically loses a character of their choice. So I'm just going to flip that up. There's a captain. Now, that assassin's attack is still coming because I did actually have an assassin. So that means the only way this person can stop that now is they need this card to be a contessa. Or they can try and lie that they have a contessa. So I happen. So let's do it this way. So let's pretend they've said I have a contessa. I may then think, well, if I call them out incorrectly, I lose my character, so I'm not going to challenge that, and then back off. However, I am going to call them out and say, I think you're lying, and that's not a contessa. So they reveal this is a Duke and not a contessa, so the attack succeeds. This player is now dead. So that's how challenging incorrectly can wipe you out very, very quickly. So you need to be careful when to claim a character and bluff, and when to just accept the hit. Funnily enough, I mean, this person's situation, they may as well have tried to bluff having a contessa, because otherwise they're just accepting defeat. So by trying to claim this Duke as a contessa, that may have made me back off, and they'd stay in for one more round. You never know. Anyway, so that's a quick idea of how the game plays. And if you'd be interested in giving this one a go, let me know. Daniel knows how to play this quite well as well, so either of us could potentially try and help people at either end. And there we go. All right, see you later.